What up, what up, what up, sports fans all over the world? It's your boy Mac the Giants fan here with my guy Adam Costas, Zion Zenith. Unfortunately, with a scheduling conflict, can't be with us tonight. But this is the Premium Takes Podcast. Let's What is going on out there, everybody? What's going on out there? How y'all feeling tonight? Welcome to another edition of the Premium Takes Podcast. Me, Matt the Giants fan, my guy Adam Costas here holding it down tonight. How you feeling, Adam?
I am doing well. The NFL season is literally a week away, less than a week away as we keep creeping on closer and closer, but this is great.
Absolutely, absolutely. First, we're gonna lead off the show with, some more tragedy that struck the sports world this time in the world in the NHL. Star player for the Columbus Blue Jackets, Johnny Gaudreau, unfortunately killed by a drunk driver. Him and his brother, to be exact, unfortunately killed by a drunk driver while riding their bikes down the road. Drunk driver
Terrible.
swerved apparently and took them both out, unfortunately. And it's just another tragedy to the sports world. Johnny Gaudreau was a absolute superstar in the world in the NHL world. He was in town in New. He was in town for his sister's wedding, which was supposed to be today. I'm not sure. I'm gonna assume that ended up not happening, but I have no. I'm not. I don't have any facts on that. But that's what he was in town for, unfortunately, and it just condolences to this family and to all his fans and anybody else feeling the effects from this once again big, huge, devastating loss in the sports world.
Sad.
I'm not the biggest hockey guy. Yeah, I'm not a big hockey guy. I'm not going to pretend to be, but still, just once again, another unfortunate and just very tragic incident. It's just going to rock the world of sports.
And that
But
team, that
I just
sport,
wanted, yeah, just wanted to acknowledge it. I just wanted to acknowledge it because it's major news right now in sports. So rest in peace. Condolences to the family of Johnny Gaudreau.
it's crazy. My condolences as well. Sad, especially since he was a premier player. I never want to see that happen to anybody, let alone your premier player. But terrible, terrible news. And I wish nothing but the best for his family going forward. And I do hope that the NHL, will honor him. Maybe they put the patch on for a year for this guy, and maybe let's start a campaign. Like, maybe we need to start to have bars that have built-in taxi services already. You know, if you look at the crime rate in Europe, they don't have as many drunk driving incidents as well. And I don't know why, if it's because they have less cars there or what, but they do a lot better over there. So we need to start doing better with Uber, Lyft. Hell, you can probably get an Uber Eat to get guy drives you home if you need to. I know that we've all been there in the nights of when you're out, but this is really why we should all be responsible for what we do and how we do it, and uh, just be better as a society. This happens too much. And unfortunately, again, it happened to two athletes who are, in the prime of their careers, right? Um, and it's just sad that we won't know where his journey ends in sports, and that's sad. That really is. So
Yeah, well said, brother. Well said. And let's try to bring it up a little bit. Unfortunately, we're going. Like Adam said, starting off his football season now. Week one is upon us. Less than a week away from kickoff to kick off the twenty
you
twenty
know what that
four
means, folks.
season. What's going on, Adam? What's going on, Alex? Alex and Daniel. Appreciate y'all too stopping in.
It's
So it happened to Kyrie Jackson.
yeah. I
One
mean,
thing this nation stands against: drunk driving. Absolutely.
well, then we need to figure out how we can make a program to help people. Whether I mean, there are services out there. How many there's car services all day, right? So like, it's not like this is the 1950s or something like that. You can't find a car or something.
There's
You
options.
know, there's everywhere. There's a
Can't find
bus
a cab. There's no excuse for the can't get a cab.
and
Shit, that's not an excuse
and
anymore. Uber, Lyft,
we all have phones. We all
everything
have cell
at your
phones these days.
disposal.
We have cell phones. We have cell phones. We have
Yeah.
we have things that can connect us to things that we couldn't do. I grew up in the 90s. We didn't have cell phones. You had to call from a payphone to get a ride. Okay, you had to call from the bar sometimes to get a ride, or the movie theater, wherever you were at, to do whatever you needed to do.
Where
Now you have a friggin' app on your phone. You just hit the button, boop, and you're there, right? And
just like
again,
that.
we've all made mistakes, but obviously this one becomes a bigger mistake because you're taking someone's life. It's not that you took your life. It's one thing if you drove drunk and got hit by a pole. It's tragic, but that's solely you, right? You took somebody else out for your stupidity, right? And neither one is good,
In this case, too,
but
someone else's.
exactly. And that could have been avoided. Remember, they were trying to go to have fun for a wedding, and then they probably were out for a bike ride to clear the air and just get out and just do whatever they were doing, right? And you come like an idiot, loaded, who knows what you're doing, down down the street, taking them out, when all you had to do was call a cab, or all you had to do was tell the bartender.
Just like that.
Bartenders also should be responsible as well for you know having security, make sure that person is escorted out, and say, listen, get him a cab or something. Maybe have yellow taxis sit there and get extra drivers and say, listen, this is my fleet of cars. To like, I used to go to the bar when I in my mid 20s. There used to be a cop car sitting out there every time for DUIs, sitting right in the fucking bar. So that if you pulled out, you were getting pulled over like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, we need to do something where we eliminate this.
Couldn't agree
Sorry.
more. Uh, Nah, couldn't agree more, brother. It needed to be said. Help people get the message. It's because it's straight up, like you said, man. It's not complicated. It's not. We don't live in a world of complication anymore. Everything's been simplified. Just pull your
Right.
cell phone out your pocket, boom, hit the button, and the
They say
ride will
drink
come right to
responsibly
you.
for a reason. Drink responsibly for a reason.
Right.
We don't want you not to have a beer. Go have a beer, baby. Go drink one. Have two. But have food, eat something, take time. We all know what the lessons are, especially if you're a grown ass man, right? It's one thing to be a hothead 21-year-old, which is stupid anyways. I get it. But if you're an older person and you're doing this, you have to know. If you have work the next day, maybe you shouldn't go out and drink if you are afraid to leave your car in that position. If you're afraid of the bar that you're at, go to a hotel. Tell someone you're going somewhere. Just don't get behind the wheel. Or what's going to end up happening to us is that there's going to be breathalyzers put in every car, and if you get behind it, the car is going to tell you no and won't go anywhere. They already do it for people who have you know gotten in trouble with this type of thing. Where well they thank God they didn't kill anybody, but they got pulled over by the police and they had to go through the whole suspended license. Once they got their license back, they literally had to breathe in a breathalyzer, and you know the car would start depending on how that person would blow. So uh, you know I just want to say,
What
like,
up, Lil?
there are ways to combat this. You know, and again, I don't. People might get mad that your car has to have a breathalyzer on it to start it and do whatever, but you know, if it would have saved those lives, why not have it on there?
I mean, just call an Uber. That's it. I mean, just call an Uber or Lyft. I mean, just it's just easy. It's quite simple. Look, I go out of town, shit like that. I party, I drink. I call Ubers. I don't get in cars and drive around. I just call an Uber to take me wherever I need to go. You know what I mean? That's it.
If that means you can't get an extra drink, so
So
what?
it's just, I mean, it's just that simple, man. It's just that it's real. It's real. It's very very easy. Simple thing to do. Just use your better judgment, people.
Maybe you should
And
have
once
it on
again,
there
rest in
somewhere.
peace to Johnny Goudreau
Yes.
and his brother. Condolences to the family. Well, let's go. Let's get to it, man. Let's get to a little football talk. Obviously, we brought up before we jumped on. Lou got it up here in the chat. New York Giants signing Dory Jackson back on a 1 year deal, giving that cornerback room a little bit of a little bit of veteran presence. How you
Yeah.
feel about the signing?
Well, it's a desperate signing for the Giants. It should have been done earlier in the year. I don't know why you wait till now.
I agree.
People are like, oh, well, they're like trying to see Cordell Fly. No, man, you know those guys stink or not. You have film. You've been watching them since fucking April. You wanted to get corners
Hold
in
on
the
real quick.
draft. That was clear. Sorry.
I just hold on for 1 second. I was going to tell him. Hockey player, played for the Columbus Blue Jackets. Johnny Goudreau was killed by a drunk driver. Him and his brother, Lou. I'm sorry, Adam. Go back. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
right, right. What I'm saying is like I first off, it's telling that nobody else had offers with the guy, right? It's kind of like break the glass for emergencies. Guess what? We broke the glass because we found out that our guys were getting cooked at practice. And we've been saying it all practice long from the fucking jump. They've been getting cooked, right? Even in June they were getting cooked, right? And so now you bring him in out of desperation, basically off the scrap heap because nobody really wanted him. Let's be honest. It's not like he got $10 million. He's probably getting a couple million for the year. I was surprised they brought him in now, waited this long because I know I said something the other day where after week 2 your contract's not guaranteed. So the fact they brought him in for week 1 tells me, and especially after that press conference, tells me they're desperate. John Mara probably told them, "Listen, motherfuckers, you got to get to the playoffs or your asses are out of here." You know what I mean? Because I'm just saying. The thing is, it feels like if they had, let's say they drafted a quarterback, you could have bought yourself time this season and said, you know what? If it's a wash, it's a wash, whatever, right? If they fail this season, I don't want to hear 8 and 9 or not progress. You need to fucking win. You need to fucking win. Get into the fucking playoffs and win some games. That's the only way you're going to stay here. If 8 and 9, 9 and 8, you miss the playoffs. No, that's not in year 3, and not with the moves and the money that you spent. So the fact that you're getting Adoree Jackson, well, it's a good move for the Giants and helps the secondary. Oh my God, I said something nice about the Giants. It's still, to me, a desperation move after the press conference. Had you done it before the press conference, a couple days in, but it seemed like people grilled you. Do you like your CB room? Do you like your CB room? We like it. We like it. Next thing you know, Adoree Jackson's coming through the door, right? So just I think they're looking at the opponent that they're playing this week, and we might as well start with that game, even though there's a game on Thursday. I guess we're headed down that road. It's up to you, whatever. But they're looking at their opponent this week, and they see two receivers. Everyone keeps telling me Addison's suspended. Well, guess what? He's not suspended for week 1. So whenever that suspension comes, and then it might be later in the year, and they haven't even gone to court or trial for his DUI, Addison, maybe you should listen to what we were just talking about, Addison. Maybe I hope this news gets to your desk about who just passed and said that could be you. That could have been you or somebody else. But anyways, that hasn't gone to trial yet. So he hasn't been suspended. So they probably looked at it and said, shit, we're getting cooked by Garrett Wilson. We got both Garrett Wilson and Addison coming. We got to get some guys in here because we have a young secondary coming about. So we'll see what happens. We'll see how it elevates. I still think this team's about a 7-win team. To me, that's just me. Adoree Jackson doesn't move the needle that much for me. It just means that we're not going to give up as many big plays. And last year, he left on a sour note. Now, some people are saying he was injured. I just think he just played a down year and was headed in the other direction. Again, this is I wrote it on one of a guy. I don't know if you know Authentic. He has a podcast, Authentic of the Beard. He wrote Adoree Jackson's back, and I put this was a break glass moment. You know how you go, you see those hoses in the buildings, and it says break glass for emergencies. Well, that's what we did. We were like,
Mm-hmm.
oh shit, tink, and we said, hey Adoree, come back here. We need you. So solid move. I hope it's not for too much money because God forbid we get some injuries and then we need to actually sign people. And, we've given all our money to Adoree Jackson. So it's going to be one of those years. So,
Yeah, I can't remember what the money was on it, but like you said, I do agree. I mean, it's a solid move. It's not going to like make just major impact. It's not going to have that major impact that I think some people would like it to have, but at the same time, it gives that secondary, like I said, just some veteran leadership back there. A guy that's been thrown in the fire before. A guy that's been out there, has been through some things, and can just kind of help maybe guide these young guys in the right direction and get guys going and getting guys lined up where they need to be and all those things. Because right now, like you said, it was looking pretty bad after you saw like the week with the Jets and how things went down. It was looking pretty rough,
well, the press
especially with
conference is
Justin
what pushed it over
Jefferson,
the edge.
Addison, and company.
And, and the press conference is really the reason why I'm saying that they need to win. And that's why they made this move. Because when they came on that press conference and they were talking about the season, um, they were basically getting all irritated because people were grilling them with these questions, and a lot of people were that I was hanging out with and talking with thought it was not like Joe Shane to be and Brian Dable to be so uptight at the beginning of the year, right? But what it tells us is there's immense pressure on their asses to win the fucking football game, and they know. And the funniest part is, here's the weirdest part. He said that he was comfortable with the roster. So we know there was a cornerback one problem. We also know that there's a quarterback problem. So if you're going to put that same stock into getting better, whether Adoree Jackson plays or not, we don't know if he's starting yet or going to be in the practice squad or anything like that. He signed a 1-year deal, so it's probably on the active roster, right? We don't know if he's going to start, what they're going to do, how they're going to ease him in, anything like that. But if you're looking at it like that, you went and got better. There was a guy named Tyler Huntley. You could have upgraded over Tyler DeVito to come in and be a quarterback in that room and get better, right? Isn't this about evaluation of everything, especially this year with Daniel Jones in here? That's why there's an interesting dynamic in this room because he's the elder statesman. He didn't bring anybody older to kind of guide him and help him. It's kind of sink or swim, but you would want talent in the room in case things go down. A lot of quarterbacks played last year. I think there were 17 rookies that started a game last year, and there was mad injuries across all starting fronts. So to me, if you're going to keep 3 quarterbacks, then change it out. Have that same mentality with our corners suck. We're watching them in practice suck, right? We're watching them. They didn't look that badly in the games, right? It wasn't like in preseason they were giving up mad yardage. In the practices they were, and probably would have emulated the game had it been a real game. But at the same time, you got to see crappy play from your backup quarterback for 3 games. Nothing changed. Yet there were quarterbacks across the league that played better that you could have said, "Hey, you know what? Let me take a chance on." They only took 1 waiver claim, and I think it just shows you what they're in store for. Like the hiring of Adoree Jackson was not like, "Let me see the young guys play," like they were trying to preach at the beginning of the year when they're like, "Preach patience." This preaches, "Oh shit, we're playing CeeDee Lamb, we're playing George Pickens, we're playing Addison, all these good receivers and receiving cores. We need guys now, and we need to win now. Otherwise, we're out the door." Yeah, I
Yeah, I
mean,
mean,
we
like you
know that's not
said,
going to happen. The point I'm trying to make is they saw a problem with the cornerback position and addressed it. Right, I see a problem in the quarterback room, and I would have addressed it. People don't keep UDFA's like Tommy DeVito because they want to keep Tommy DeVito. He stinks. We know he stinks. You keep me around just because he knows the playbook and keep me a roster spot for him. You know, is not really what you want to see, right? So I want to see you evaluate talent and elevate the room where you need to elevate it, right? So if there's a good guard out there, you should have got a guard or something like that. So, and I expect changes to happen with injuries as they come, right? So we'll find out what happens. So I went on a little bit of a tangent there. Sorry, but um, yeah,
Yeah, I mean, can't seem to find any details on his contract exactly, but it's a 1 year
probably
deal
bare
for
minimum.
Dory Jackson coming back, coming back to the Giants. I mean, like I said, it's something it is some positivity. Just wish, like you said, they would have maybe thought to address this situation a little bit sooner.
Yeah, I mean,
But
what purpose does it serve bringing him in a week out, no shape, no football shape like that? What if he comes in and pulls a hamstring game one, right? Then what happens? Then you're back to square one. I mean, anyone can be injured, but what I'm saying is this guy hasn't been in the camp now. Yeah, he's a veteran, I get it, but he also played like shit last year. So it's not like he was a veteran and was like Stephen Gilmore, where he played actually pretty good for the Cowboys. Okay, this guy played for the Giants and had one memorable play against the Eagles, right? The 92-yard touchdown, whatever it was, interception. So he played better in 22, but again, that was a different defense. We'll see how he fares here. And maybe he'll play well, and maybe I'll shut my mouth when it's all said and done. But we'll see.
we will see. Well, wide receivers been getting paid, over the course of the last couple of years. Wide receivers have been getting paid like crazy. Brandon Ayuk now added to that list, signing a 4 year extension with the 49ers, man, for like 120 million, if I'm not mistaken. Can't remember the
Yes.
guaranteed on it, but Brandon Ayuk is now the latest receiver to get paid, man. And how you feel about what you think about that contract, and man, who you think might be next?
Well, I'm not. I'm probably Jamar Chase is going to be next. If you have to ask me, they're already in talks with him. And it seems like he might be. He did hold out, I think, a little bit as well. It just wasn't as publicized because he was there as well doing whatever he did. Brandon Ayuk, like good for him. He deserves to get paid. He's I think he's more valuable than Debo Samuel, to be honest with you, if you want my honest opinion. Without Brandon Ayuk, Debo Samuel can't do what he's doing because Brandon Ayuk stretches the field with his speed. He's a tough runner. He's basically your quarterback security blanket. And, he proved that he's a pretty good player. So, receivers get paid. That's what you do. And fortunate receivers, quarterbacks, and the quarterback market especially, but what's happening is that what you need to bring back is the middle class market of receivers, right? Guys who are just a tier below getting paid. Like for example, we have Darius Slayton. If he goes for 950 this year, he should get a contract north of 15 million a year, 16 million a year, 17, something like that if he plays well, right? These guys like Ayuk, if I'm paying them, I'm gonna be like, yo, are you an all pro? Did you make the Pro Bowl? What are the numbers? What are the incentives you got? Because it's become a video game. Every year we're talking about a quarterback and we're talking about a receiver. We had a rookie last year go for 1,500 yards. We had Brandon Ayuk go for like 1,400 yards last season. And like I said, he deserved it. It's not like he didn't. It's not like he didn't play hard. And you got to pay these
True.
guys, and that's what they're going to do. And it's funny how it played out in the media. It was so much different than the Cowboy situation because Brandon Ayuk was there and John Lynch like, we need to get it done, like get off my lawn type shit. And Jerry Jones like, I'm Jerry Jones, we'll get it done, we'll get it done. Don't you worry about me. I know what I'm gonna do. And what did I say? I not mean to transition to CD, but he got paid first, and we didn't really talk about it much on this show. We talked about it on the NFC East show, but to transition into that, look at how both was handled. One, I told motherfuckers, and I'll say that word out loud because there's no kids listening right now, that he was going to be paid. I said, don't worry about it. Cowboys do this all the time. This is their norm. He will get done. And what happened? It got done, right? Brandon Ayuk was interesting because it was different in the way that CeeDee Lamb didn't want to leave Dallas. He wanted to stay there and get paid. Brandon Ayuk flirted with getting traded with teams, with the Browns, Steelers. You heard that. The Pats, Washington at one point they thought was going to make a trade as well. Names were floated around. At least that's what was happening in the Twitter universe, right? So it was just interesting to see how it's done. And like I said, the 49ers, they're trying to win Super Bowl. Let's be real. That's what they're trying to do. And they have other problems going on. I'm sure we're going to address the tackle situation that they have going on. And listen, I'll tell you this right now. If the tackle holds out, this is going to be Emmitt Smith all over again. If the tackle holds out and the Jets, who are relentless on defense, Giants know that firsthand. And if you've been around, you know firsthand Robert Sala's defense. And they lose because Trent Williams is letting his guy leak around and Brock Purdy gets hit and sacked. They're going to sign a contract on the dotted line, just like Emmitt Smith did. I'm sure Mac knows where Emmitt Smith came out. The Cowboys played. They got absolutely torched, couldn't do anything offensively. And they were like, you know what, Emmitt, we'll give you your contract. Sorry. And they went on to win the Super Bowl that year. So I can see that happening.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Brock Purdy, man. I'm pretty sure Brock Purdy's feeling pretty good about getting this deal done with Brandon Ayuk. I'm absolutely sure he's loving that. Keeping them weapons in the house, man. I don't know, but
Well, you can do that when you have a rookie quarterback
Trent
deal
Williams.
and you have a guy like Brock Purdy there. You can sign guys. That's what makes this ideal situation for the 49ers. And then once they're signed, that's when you get the money. People don't realize it's not about the contract itself, because you can front load and back load the contract. It's really about the beginning part of the contract. Can you sign them right up front? And then the back end of the contract, what you're going to do to move to guarantee money. If it's a higher annual value, most likely what they'll do is convert that annual value to probably bonus for that year, and then it comes off the salary cap in different ways. So you just want to sign the guy first, and then that's when, like, look at the Eagles, they can sign all those players because they already have their guy under contract, and then you can rework things as you go. So that's really why you want to do that.
I mean, for my money, I'd say definitely Trent Williams. I think the 49ers are going to absolutely feel the impact of him not being out there, man.
Reddick
It's
has the
just a
leverage.
guy of that level. I just I don't know. I just think Trent Williams is just too. To me, that's just a big. He's too big of a
He's a
hit.
Hall of Famer. Reddick is not.
He absolutely is. Well, no, yeah.
I'm just saying
Trent
they're
Williams
both in
is.
the
I
top
mean,
of
they're
their
gonna
sport, right? But what does Trent Williams play? Left tackle?
absolutely.
Well, there you go.
Some say he's the best in the business currently right now.
Well,
Some
I
would
mean,
say.
this, if I'm the 49ers, this is a good problem to
Most would
have.
say.
All these winning teams have this problem where they have to pay their good players. My God, ooh, a concept that seems foreign. Like, oh my God, he wants more. Well, of course he does. He's in the prime of his career. He's still playing well. Andrew Whitworth got contract till he was damn near 40. Okay, and he got paid more and more money at the age of 38, like 39. The guy was damn near 40 and still doing it. The guy, who's the guy on the Eagles? I forget who the Eagles guy who's bouncing around the league right now, is still playing. Oh God, don't remember his name. Big old dude. He's like 40 years old, still playing, still getting paid. Okay,
Oh,
you
you're
know
talking about the
he's in
the one
Seattle now.
he's.
He was in Seattle last year.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. I can't.
He wears the
Marcus
visor.
Marcus Marcus the one he's Jason Peters. Yeah, Jason Peters. That
Yes,
guy. I don't know why I'm
yes.
saying
That's
Marcus.
what I'm saying.
Jason Peters. Thank you, Alex.
He's still getting paid. He's still getting paid. You know what I'm saying? So like I like Hassan Reddick, but not like he's not like he's like Bryce Huff. Like, what are we doing? It's not his fault that they used him wrong in Arizona. I get that. Okay. And I understand you're trying to make up for it because he's 29 years old and he's had a couple seasons, and you're going with the Jets, who, by the way, the Jets have three premier pass rushers. They're not going to need you. They're going to say bye-bye, right, to you. So he has no leverage. There's not like the 49ers are coming in and saying, you know what, we've got this young stud tackle that we drafted, that can come in and play while Trent Williams decides to hold out. They don't. Hassan Reddick has Will McDonald, and then he has Jermaine Johnson, and I think there's somebody else there that they have as well, that is also rushing the passer, and they're good. Plus the interior, they are not sitting there at the Jets going, we need pass rush. Oh my God, Hassan Reddick. They got him because they wanted to add more to the already stacked room, but they have no leverage, and Hassan Reddick has no leverage, and he'll find out real quick in week one where Trent Williams. I wouldn't be surprised if Trent Williams signs like the night before. Like, don't think I'm crazy. He'll sign up the night before, come in with his helmet, and be ready to go. But if he doesn't and he decides to hold out, Jets are going to win that game because they're just going to stack that side with that young tackle and say, "Go ahead, have at it."
Yeah, that's what I'm feeling, man. That's what I'm thinking too, man. I mean, Trent Williams is that's a big hole. That's a big hole. That's a big loss for any team, any offensive line unit, man. Trent Williams is a special top talent out there at left tackle. So, 49ers are going to feel that if they don't get something done, if they can't get something done, come to an agreement. But we'll see. If you want to talk about some games, man, that's, obviously, I'm
No,
assuming you're excited for Thursday night, Ravens Chiefs. I mean, kick the
we're
season off. That's a big one right there.
ladies and gentlemen, this is how we're going to break it down tonight. We're going to talk about a couple games that we like, and then we're going to pick our games. Our it's back, ladies and gentlemen. Our weekly picks. I don't know if we're going to do any bets this year, but we're gonna go on without Zion. Zion can, if you're listening, you can always text us your picks, and we will update the sheet when we have a chance. But right now, we're going to talk about opening night, the two games, and then I'll talk with Mac and see if he wants to pick the games or just highlight the games. But Thursday night, kicking it off, Baltimore versus Kansas City, a rematch of the AFC Championship game, a game that was pretty tight game. Both defenses played immaculate. Kansas City in the first half, the Ravens were absolutely locked down in the second half of that ball game last year, and I'm excited. And you saw the receiving core that you know Mahomes has now. He's got five pretty decent players out there that they're going to traipse out there. You got the Ravens, who it's a revenge game, but now you're going to Arrowhead, right? It's not like it's going. I think it's an Arrowhead, right? Let me just double check. I want to make sure that I do believe
It's
that.
absolutely an Arrowhead. It's the
Yes,
opening game.
it's in
Super Bowl
Arrowhead. Yes,
champions host
they won the Super
host.
Bowl. Pardon me, Mac. Pardon me. Forgot the rules. Forgot the rules. So it's going to be a raucous environment. They're going to be excited. They're going to be juiced through the roof. And somebody on a space that I was on said they don't believe in like home field advantage or nothing else like that. I believe in that shit. I believe in that moment. If there's no home field advantage, why don't we just go back to 2020 and have no crowd in the stands, right? There is absolutely energy for when you have a live crowd in front of you, your home opener, you have the Super Bowl trophy presentation and all that stuff going on that night. That gives you a little extra edge. It does. It just everyone tells you that. When the alumni is in the building, we got the edge. When there's a ceremony going on in the building, we got the edge. It's good. It could be a little too much edge, and that might be the difference in the game. There might be it might not be. That might be what pushes you in the victory column, right? Because the other team comes in and just can't handle playing an Arrowhead, right? Especially with Patrick Mahomes. So it's going to be a fantastic ball game to start. I think the NFL got it right with this one to kick it off. I know last year Kansas City, the last 3 years has been, pretty much almost Kansas City. I don't think it's the last 3 years. I don't remember who it was in 2021 was Kansas City. 2022, I think, was Tampa Bay because they had won, right? Or 2021 was Tampa Bay, and then Kansas City, because they played the Lions or something like that. Either way, Kansas City, this is why you win, right? This is what happens. So I'm excited to see. I think it could be a battle of the AFC Championship game again, week one. Imagine that. You fight all 17 weeks to come back and replay that match down the road. Oh, it's going to be fantastic.
Absolutely, great way to kick the season off. Like you said, two great teams, two of the top teams in the AFC by far. Like you said, it could absolutely be a preview of the AFC Championship game down the line. But this is just going to be a dope game, man. I haven't get a chance to get Lamar Jackson back on the field. Haven't seen him throughout the preseason. So get a chance to finally see him back on the field. See what that offense looks like. Big Derrick Henry in the backfield. Man, I mean,
That's the difference too
it's
in the ball
interesting
game.
with the
Last time they didn't have a good running game.
Inter- interested in seeing if Flowers takes the next step out there at the receiver spot, as he's definitely now legitimately their number one guy for sure, without a shadow of a doubt. So let's see what that young man's prepared to do. I mean, I'm excited for this game. This is a great way, like you said, to kick the season off. You got two heavyweights right here
Power.
going
Yeah.
at it. This is like old school, gives you that old school feel, man.
Ali
Back when
Foreman.
heavyweight boxing mattered over here. This is definitely a great way to do it, man. And NFL, man, it keeps it rolling right on through the next night as well, man.
Eagles,
Packers
Packers.
Eagles, man. Once again, two teams I think people have pretty high up right in the NFC
That could be a
rankings.
preview of the NFC
Another
Championship game.
just another great way, man. Do it on a Friday night. NFL coming at you on a Friday night opening week down in Brazil.
Oh,
Eagles rolling out some new black and white uniforms as green is apparently shunned upon in the stadium in which the game is going to be taking place. So
well, that was a
Eagles
brilliant
rolling
move.
out
We'll put
a
the
black.
Green Bay Packers in with the Philadelphia Eagles. Like, could you not do it? Be any dumber? Like, oh, it would. If they were smart, they would have switched the games. But Kansas City and Baltimore is marquee. You can't move that game. But I'm just saying, you could have easily moved the teams in there and said, "Oh, we made a mistake." But idiots, do your research next time, please. Do the surrounding areas. Not everybody is accommodating as certain places. So they're walking down the street in their jumpsuits, trying to go get something to eat, and they get jumped because you were like, no, I didn't have the foresight to see what was going on in that town. My God. Like, you can't even be a fan. You can't even be a fan and go there and wear your Eagle green. You literally have to buy black. You know what I mean? And what is Green Bay going to wear? Green Bay has green everywhere. I mean, it's in their name, green.
Well, look, maybe they'll just be the Bay Packers for the day. We'll see how that goes. But
we're just going to call them Packers.
But look,
they don't even have a name. They're not from Green Bay. They're just the Packers. The Packers from Wisconsin. The Wisconsin Packers. That's what we're going to call them right now. Okay?
Yeah.
But I think it's really
absolutely. I mean, we get the Eagles' new look offense for the Eagles, with Kellen Moore calling the plays, running the offense now. We'll see what this Eagle offense is going to look like. I mean, with the addition of Saquon Barkley, all the other weapons they already had. See what this O line looks like. How the O line still holds together. I mean,
the defense.
with after the retirement of Jason Kelsey, the defense. Let's see if they've made all the right adjustments on that defense to try to improve that unit on that side of the football. I think we all can agree that up front they are going to be a very stout unit. But
we'll
Green
see.
Bay, Jordan Love, man. See what he does year 2 as a full-time starter. See what this guy, what he's made of. It's a whole season of film on him now. It's a whole season of tape.
That's Mac, that's where you're coming in, right? We talked about the 49ers a little bit ago, right? And that was, I think, Brock Purdy's first full year as the starter, right? You have Jordan Love's first full year as the starter right now. And we're going to find out if these two guys, Purdy and Love, are going to bounce back and move up into the upper echelon of the quarterback realm that we talk about and we covet, right? I mean, Jordan Love had 4,100 yards last year. I think he had 30 touchdowns or something like that. I could be wrong. But he's I'm not going to say he's a made man yet, as they say in the mob, a made man, but he did have a good year. If he can parlay that into another good, I mean, dang, he's only 25 years old. Jesus Christ. I mean, this kid could be good. Let's see what happens, man. Like I said, I just want to take up his stats last year because for a first-year starter who sat on the bench, it was pretty amazing what he did. And it just goes to show that you can have the foresight of drafting a quarterback 4 years ago, right? And last year he had 64% completion, and he threw for 4,100 yards, and he threw for 32 touchdowns. I mean, that in itself is a feat. 32 touchdowns and 11 interceptions. That's more than a 2-to-1 ratio. That's off to a good start. If he can duplicate those numbers, the Packers are going to be, again, sitting pretty in the divisional round. Again, people blamed him in the 49er game. I don't blame him. I think, did he have a little immaturity lapse? Yes, I do believe it was a little bit immaturity lapse at that point, but the defense had collapsed and giving up the 49ers. They should have put the 49ers away. They obviously did not. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Love can do. Now, like you said with the Eagles, man, I told no Mets last week and no Jets. I said this Eagle team is going about their business quietly, and that's what scares me. Is I don't hear nothing out of this team. They don't say a word. I'm not hearing them on the press clippings. I'm not hearing about like we're hearing about the Dallas Cowboys. We're hearing about the New York Giants in the NFC East, but we don't hear about the Commanders really, and we don't hear about the Eagles. And the Eagles just retool, reload. They just got somebody off waivers who's a good player for their team. Another D lineman that they pulled up, and it's just like, my God, what are we doing here? This team just gets richer, and we're going to find out if they're for real. And I think the game is more important to Philadelphia than it is Green Bay. Now I know Green Bay is in a tough division right now with the Lions. Minnesota's going to be a feisty team. They're not going to be an easy out. And you've got the Lions. The Bears who are up and coming as well. So I think while it's a tough division, everyone's pretty much equal there. I think you have 9 wins and win the division. However, for the Eagles, this has to be you have to come out and beat this team, and you have to put your foot on their throat. Okay, because you are now the favorite. You have better offensive weapons than they do in AJ Brown and Devontae Smith. You just got Jahan Dotson, who to add 3 first-round picks at wide receiver at your disposal. Not to mention Dallas Goedert. Not to mention a first-round pick running back. That was first-round pick plus first-round pick plus first. You have 4 first-round picks on the offense. All right, and not to mention a high premium pick in Jalen Hurst. Right, so 5 guys on your field. You have Kellen Moore, who just said came in. They have looked good in practice. There's a lot more motion. This team can be scary. Okay, and I will tell you this right now: the straw that's going to stir the drink is going to be Saquon Barkley. I know everyone's talking about Jalen Hurts. I'll tell you why it's going to be Barkley. Barkley will change the dynamic of the offense. Last year, they were in a lot of shotgun, and they couldn't get out of the shotgun because, 1, it became too predictable, but 2, they didn't utilize their backs out of the backfield, which would help eliminate some of that, some of the umbrella coverage that they were seeing, right, with a dump off. Now you're going to have Barkley up there. You're going to have a lot more motion and getting guys in, and it's going to help Jalen Hurst identify who the defense is, and not to mention that run-pass relationship between Barkley and Hurst in the backfield. We talked about it with Henry and Jackson, right? Those are 2 kind of different styles. So is it with Barkley and Hurst. And what it's going to do, I say you go back to the old pitch rule from the college days. Remember those days, Mac, where your quarterback would run out and the running back would be running alongside? I mean, I don't know if they have the spacing to do it in the NFL because the hash marks are a little closer, but I definitely would be running those kind of plays. Yes, it's going to get your quarterback hit here and there, but it might also get you a big play, right? Because if you pitch it the last second and can get Barkley streaking down the field, it's going to be kind of one of those things where if I'm those teams, I've got to think of creative ways to do this because those 2 weapons right there are going to open up the offense, which they didn't have last year. You can just blanket coverage those 2 receivers. Now you have Jahan Dotson, who's going to make catches, plus Dallas Goedert, and now you have a guy in Barkley who can catch everything on the field, right? He may be 230 pounds, but he can catch the ball out of the backfield really well, and I think that's one of his, running back. You know what I'm saying? So it will be good. It will be good to see them how they deploy him and what they do. So
Yeah, I mean it should be interesting. Like I said, it's great. I mean, great way the NFL kicking the season off. Two big banger games, man. In each conference, big AFC matchup to kick the season off on Thursday night, and then a big NFC matchup on Friday night. Some Friday night football live from Brazil.
oh, they love that Friday night
But
game, and the NFL needs to be careful with this game every night. They listen, NFL. I'm gonna tell you this right now. I know there's streaming platforms. I know there's ad revenue. I know that people love football, but let the oversaturation of football go to college football. Don't be oversat. Don't be the NBA. Don't be the MLB. Don't be like that because we're gonna get tired of you. I know that they built a big business in fantasy, but if you're going to have a game on Tuesday, a game on Wednesday, a game on Thursday, people are going to get bored and weird about it. It used to be your games were on Sunday. You occasionally had a game on Thursday. I get it. Why you want to do Thursday night games now? Whatever, fine. You want to keep that in there? Great. But leave it to your weekends. Don't keep doing this and adding it. They have a game on Friday and Black Friday. I get it. I don't want to keep doing this because what's going to happen is you're going to say, oh, let's sneak a Friday in here. Let's sneak another Friday in there. Let's play this game here. Oh, we have this holiday season. Let's do all this. So I get the ad revenue and what they want, and it's a business, but don't fuck up the product because guess what? Like the NFL, like the WWE, you have competition in the UFL. Not saying it's big competition, but people will start to be like, you know what? We have football all the time. We can go back and we can do other things on a Friday night. You're going to lose viewership, right? So don't oversaturate it. I understand it's a big weekend, kickoff weekend, fine. Black Friday weekend, okay, I'll accept it. But come on, let's try to keep it to Sundays, Mondays, and Thursdays. There's already enough time takes up my week, watching these games. So please.
Absolutely, absolutely. I was like, well, let's look down at the rest of the schedule. Let's go to some move to Sunday, man. Any game that's moving the needle for you? Any game you're looking forward to on the Sunday slate,
Let's
man?
see. Sunday slate. Let me go down the line here. We're going to pick these games in a little bit. But I'm interested in Houston and Indianapolis at 1:00 on Sunday. That's interesting to me. Besides obviously our Giant game that we're playing, which was interesting. I also want to see.
Well, yeah,
That's a given. And I want to see Dallas Cleveland the second half of the game. I think that's going to be an interesting. Nothing is really intriguing me. I mean, we'll play. We can play the pick'em game in a little bit, but like I said, and you know another game that I'm looking at, another AFC
I
South
got
game.
that Sunday night. I like that Sunday night football game right there. The Rams Lions, man. Sunday night
I'm
football
intrigued by
kicking it
the
off
Jets.
the Sunday night slate.
Jets
The Rams
49ers.
Lions game.
So yeah, and I want to see Jacksonville versus Miami. That's another game I'd like to see. So, but everything else is kind of ho hum. Like Giants, Vikings. While I love the Giants. It's Sam Darnold and Daniel Jones. Great. You know what I mean? Like you got Carolina, New Orleans. That's not very interesting. I mean, Dallas, Cleveland. We want to see how good their defense is. Washington, Tampa Bay. I think it'll be interesting to see Jaden Daniels, I guess. But you said it, Sunday night, Detroit, Los Angeles. That's going to be a fun one. Their playoff game was pretty good last year. They damn near lost to the Rams. Rams damn near knocked them out. They could have been at the NFC Championship game last year. Imagine that. And the Rams looked, from everything I'm hearing, the Rams are looking stacked on defense. Like they've got a couple pass rushers there.
Some people are saying the Rams are ready to knock the 49ers off the top of the NFC West Mountain, man. So we'll see how that all plays out. That's why that game's sticking out to me. I mean, the Lions the Lions are definitely a team that's a team to consider in the NFC as one of their a contender, man, potentially. And the Rams, they may be just coming back up again, man. They went reloaded the fire, reloaded, man.
They are all healthy. That's the first time we have said that. Plus, they got their line. They've got a stacked running back room. They've got Puka Nacua. They've got Cooper Kupp back healthy. Matthew Stafford's healthy. I mean, this team wasn't supposed to win last year, and they did. And now, here we are. It's crazy. No first round pick either.
But if you want, we can get ready to move to the pick'ems if you like.
Pick'ems. I just want to talk about one more game, I think. And that's the reason I want to talk about the Miami Jacksonville game is I think it's a big game for both teams. Miami is trying to claim that they're a Super Bowl contender. The Jacksonville Jaguars are trying to find themselves and see if where they're going to rank in the AFC South. Remember, I just told you I like the Houston Indianapolis game. because of C.J. Stroud and Anthony Richardson, two marquee guys. Hopefully, we'll get to see them for a long time. And I really want to start bringing back quarterback rivalries like when I was a kid with Montana and Marino, Elway, and
Stuff
those guys
Wells.
where you could come back and have a rivalry for a long time. Where we watched Brady and Manning go at it for a while. We had Drew Brees and Aaron Rodgers and the NFC go at it for a while. I really want to start to see those battles again. So Houston intrigues me, but Jacksonville, they have a lot to prove. They kind of faltered down the stretch last year. They just paid their quarterback big money to be a big time player. He needs to step up into the upper echelon of quarterbacks, and this is a game he needs to do it. And Miami's been knocking on the door. Tua lost a little weight. Let's see if that'll help them. They like the greatest show on turf, like I told you. They got a fast running back, fast receiver and core. They just are overall fast. Defensively, they got a new defensive coordinator. Obviously, Vic Fangio was not doing it last year for them. So we'll see what happens. I think it's an important game, more so for Jacksonville, but also Miami, because you got three teams in the AFC East who can make the playoffs, right? You have Buffalo, you have Miami, and you have the Jets, right? And so those two other teams are Super Bowl contenders, with their quarterback, especially the Jets. They're trying to gear up for a Super Bowl. So it will be interesting to see. So that's the last game I want to touch on. If I'm ready to go for the pick'ems, if you are.
Yeah, let's do it, man.
So, ladies and gentlemen, as you know, we've done this last year where we always pick the games for you. And yes, that's right. I will be presenting my screen and letting you know what we will be doing with the Google Pick'em sheet. Da, da, da. Share it. It's on there. You got it? Good. I hope you got it good. Okay, so let's see. You can see it. Sharing it. All right, so now you can see it. So Mac is up here at the top. This is week one. Let me clear this out for you guys. Obviously, these are old from last year, but we can get started. We have week one. So week one, we didn't pick these games. We talked about them, but we didn't pick them. So the first game, obviously, is Kansas City and Baltimore. Mac, who do you have?
I think Baltimore goes in there and ruins Kansas City's night, man. Ruins
Wow.
their little their ceremony, whatever they do, hand out the rings, whatever it is they do open night at home. But yeah, I think Baltimore goes in there and runs the ball right down their throat, man. I know Kansas City got they can be a little stout on the defensive side, a little more stout than people give them credit for. But I think Baltimore goes in there, King Henry, man, and just kind of just runs the ball right and just hammers them. I just believe that's what it's going to end up being a physical matchup, and I think Baltimore is going to take them out and get exact a little bit of revenge from that AFC Championship game a year ago. Well, I mean, not a year ago, but
Right. We know what you mean. We know. Baltimore getting the revenge. He likes it. So a little too much. A little too much. Um, I will pick the Kansas City Chiefs because I am not going to bet against Patrick Mahomes. You draft. You drafted DJ.
it was my last pick. It was literally my last pick of the draft. I already
Oh,
have.
no, I'm not worried about it.
I already
Wales.
got Joe Burrow.
Don't worry about it.
I got Joe Burrow and Jordan Love on the same team. So we'll see
Okay,
how
give
often
me
DJ cracks the lineup.
it. Daniel Jones ain't going to see the light of day unless they happen to have a bye week at the same time. I'm not starting him. Hey, he might win you a few games against Washington. But anyways, I'm going with Kansas City. I love Mahomes as a quarterback. He's always been one of my favorites since coming out. I love what he does. And I just think he's got weapons now that he hadn't had last year. And he's going to want to make a statement that we want to go for the three-peat. And what better way to do it than on the grand stage in your house in Arrowhead when getting the Lombardi Trophy christened at your place. So I have Kansas City. We have Baltimore. We want to be a little fun. Zion, you can text me your picks if you are listening whenever you get a chance. Other than that, I don't really we don't really have anything for you. Let's move on to week two. Week two is obviously, um, sorry, people. I'm just trying to update the graph for you. Is Green Bay and Philadelphia. Who you got, Mac?
Hmm. I got to roll with Philly here, man. I hate rolling with Philly, but I got to roll with Philly here on this one. I think they got something to prove coming into this season with a bit of a chip on their shoulder the way their season ended last year. So I think they once again made some additions to this team to just once again upgrade on both sides of the football. Even though the offense was already stacked as it was, when you add Saquon Barkley into the mix,
We're going with Philly.
and it's just as a whole different layer, a whole different layer right there. So I just think it might be a little too much for the Green Bay Packers. What who I think is a good young squad, but I think Philly's gonna be coming here with something to prove, and I think they're gonna not take care of them down in sunny Brazil.
Well, let's hope that they're not the judges at at a particular contest that goes on down there that might, get in the way and distract them. And Mac knows what I'm talking about. If you don't, Google that shit because you too could be a bum judge. All right, so a judge of the bum. So I'm going to pick Philadelphia. I would normally pick Green Bay to be fun, but this is football. This is pick'ems, and I'm going with what my gut is telling me, what I feel, and I feel that like Max said, Philly's going to try to come out and make a statement. Again, they've been quiet this offseason after the debacle that was last year, the falling apart, the doors falling off, and then not being able to repeat. Could be the Super Bowl hangover that a lot of people talk about. You play a lot of football. You go from February to September. You don't get much time off. You lose down the stretch. Your offense doesn't change much, and they also probably kind of exerted their. I think last year when they beat Kansas City, that was their redemption. They got to beat Kansas City after losing to them in the Super Bowl. They beat them. That kind of was like, we did it, right? And then they kind of just cruised the rest of the way, thinking that they were just going to beat teams like the Giants and these other teams, and it didn't happen that way. So for them, I think they bounce back, and for that, I picked them. But let's get on to Sunday afternoon's games, and we shall start with Pittsburgh and Atlanta. I know who I'm going with, but Mac, I'll start with you.
I like uh I like Atlanta here. Get off to a good start, man. See what they looking like. Kirk Cousins running the offense. See the impact he can have. What that offense can do with a competent quarterback uh, leading the way. I think everybody's going to be up. I think this is going to benefit everybody. All their weapons. I mean, Drake London, Bijan Robinson. I think Kyle Pitts. We're going to finally get a chance to really see how dynamic Kyle Pitts can truly be. I believe with a competent quarterback now for him getting him the ball. And I think the Atlanta Falcons take care of Pittsburgh here in Week 1, man.
I will have to agree with you. There's not much I can say. I think Pittsburgh has a great defense, or I shouldn't say great defense. They have a very good defense, and well, I think it'll cause trouble for Atlanta a little bit. I think the reason you get a quarterback like Kirk Cousins is to help navigate that. They have a decent offensive line. They got B. John Robinson in the backfield. Drake London, Kyle Pitts, like you said, is going to have the best quarterback he's ever played. I just think Russell Wilson, well, I think he's going to be a solid player for the Steelers. I think he's going to put up numbers like he did last year. I 3,000 yards, 26 touchdowns. I think that's enough for Pittsburgh to kind of be competitive. But I just think Atlanta has this is Atlanta's game right here. You're at home. You're against Pittsburgh. Go out and win. Show them that you're going to be the class of the NFC. So I'm going with Atlanta. Next we have. Come on, my computer folks. Don't buy a shitty computer. Arizona and Buffalo. I'm going to go real quick. I'm going to pick Buffalo just because I just think I think listen, I think Arizona's going to be a competitive team, but let's be honest, there are two teams going in two different directions. One's building They got their quarterback, they got a receiver. They're trying to build something down there in year two. More, still building the foundations. So I think this team's a little above their weight class in terms of who they play. So I think for me, it's going to be Buffalo. Mac, is your upset
Oh yeah, I mean,
specialty?
I'm definitely going Buffalo here. I definitely, yeah, I agree with you, Adam. This is week one. I just think Buffalo's going to be too much for Arizona to handle week one. So I just
Buffalo.
nothing more to be said.
Alrighty, well, Josh Allen. Let's see what he does. Come on, computer. Thank you, Jesus. So now we have Atlanta, we have Tennessee and Chicago. Interesting matchup. I don't know where we're going to land. I'd like to hear what Mac has to say because I think we might have differing views.
I gotta go. I mean, I like what Chicago's done this all season, and like what they've done, especially on the offensive side of the football. Caleb Williams. I mean,
So
didn't
you're
see
going
him
Chicago.
very much in the preseason, but the limited action we saw, he looked like he's ready to go out there and lead this offense, man, and lead this Chicago Bears team into a new direction, man. Tennessee is to me is still kind of a wild card. Not really sure what to truly expect from this football team, to be honest. So, and I just think Chicago is going to be one of those good young teams. Surprised a lot of people this year competing in a very competitive NFC North division. I think Chicago's going to be right there in the mix. I'm going with Chicago here, man. I think they get Caleb Williams gets off to a good start to his career, man, with a big win in week one.
Chi Town got it going on. Love the hard knocks. I know a lot of people think it's boring, but I think it's kind of interesting to watch the inner workings. But I'm going with the Tennessee Titans. They revamped their defense. They revamped some players on offense with Calvin Ridley is now there. They Will Levis. I know that they got Tony Pollard down there as a running back now to kind of help out. I think they got somebody else marquee recently as well. I think they just got the Rams linebacker that they got because they traded him. So I think they're gonna be a little too much to handle. Little. There's gonna be a little growing pains for Caleb Williams. As much as I like him, I think we differ here, and it's good. It's good to be different. We've kept the same three picks outside of Kansas City. So this is where we differ again, and I think it's going to be an interesting matchup again. AFC South teams, it's important for them to get off to a good start. Remember that division went down to like the final game to get into the playoffs. Obviously, the Texans won, but like the Colts and the Jags were both in it. If the Jags had won, they would be going to the playoffs. They lost. The Colts spoiled that show, and so we'll see what happens this year. But I think three teams. I think it's going to be a fun division to watch. If there's one division that is interesting to look at, you have AR-15 in that division. You have C.J. Stroud. You have Will Levis, and you have Trevor Lawrence. So four young quarterbacks and four young teams that are up and coming. So it should be interesting. I know I rambled on, so let's get to the next game. The next
What's
game,
up, Miz?
Cincinnati against the New England Patriots. I am not even going to hesitate on this one. I am picking Cincinnati, and it's not even a question. While I like Jacoby Brissett and what they're trying to do down there, the damn Cincinnati Bengals are going to railroad. They're going to railroad Jared Mayo and the New England Patriots. Mac.
I like the new things the Cincinnati Bengals have been doing to you know to city Cincinnati. But no, honestly, Cincinnati Bengals here. This is the biggest the biggest point spread of the week, and I think we all know why. I mean, this is to me a lopsided affair. Just can't imagine. I can't even envision a scenario in which the New England Patriots win this football game. So definitely going Cincinnati here.
Some booty cheeks will be clapped on Sunday in that game. If you're a betting man, put a few shekels on the Bengals to double digit victory. Here's another game I am looking forward to: Houston, Indianapolis. Two of my favorite quarterbacks coming out in the draft in 2022: C.J. Stroud, Anthony Richardson. AR-15 has already got a cool nickname. We have this game coming up. Mac, who are you taking? Please tell the world.
I like the Colts at home, man. I think the
What?
Colts at home.
Wow.
I think as much as as good as everything we saw from C.J. Stroud a year ago in Houston, I think they're still going to be a very formidable team. But I just something the Colts were scrappy all through last season, man. They were always in the mix, man. I think AR-15, if he would have got a chance to finish that season
It
out,
was a neck.
it would have been. I mean, who knows? Who knows? What maybe could have been a difference in that division, man. That race
They
down
were
to the end.
close.
And I just like the Colts, man. Defensively, I think there's. I still believe that's like just a sneaky good defense. A little underrated, I think, under the radar. I think the Colts, man, they go out there and they take care of business week one and knock off the defending division champs and the Houston Texans, man. I think they
Wow.
do it.
Wow. Wow. I did not expect that, ladies and gentlemen. I expected him to go with CJ Stroud. Well, he's not going with CJ Stroud, but I'm going with CJ Stroud. That Texans team looks like they're geared and ready to go. They understand where they are at. They got Stephon Diggs. They had Nico Collins coming back. They still have Dalton Schultz. Their offensive line is coming together a little bit. Their defense, they just got the guy from the Vikings. What's his name again? Daniel Hunter to pair with Will Anderson and Derek Stingley and Petrie, Jalen Petrie, manning that secondary. I think they are primed and ready to try to make their little run right now. So I am going to go with Houston Texans. Wow. This is going to be great. It's going to be a great game, folks. We're going to see where that one takes us. The next game on the docket is Jacksonville, Miami. Who do you have, Mac? Who do you have?
This is two interesting teams to me. Two teams that just seem to can't get out of their own way. I mean, when it really
Yeah,
comes down to it, and
it's
I like
true.
Miami here at home. I like Miami. I think it's just too much on offense. I still think they just still have too much offensively. And if that run game can get going like they had it going at certain points of the season last year, it just adds a whole different dimension to that offense. I mean, there's a reason why Tyree Hill was rated number one player in the NFL this past year on the countdown. I
Uh,
mean, he's just a dynamic talent, and
Miami.
I just like Miami. I like Miami here. I just think
Well,
Jacksonville always seems to find a way to stumble. And I mean, this is a week one game, not a big game, but at the same time, it's kind of one. It's probably one of the more marquee matchups, I guess, on the week one slate on Sunday, as far as Sunday afternoon games go. So I
well,
like Miami here.
that's cool because I'm picking Jacksonville because the Miami Dolphins are frauds. They're fraudulent people. They always come out there puffing their chest and they never do nothing. I think Jacksonville is they understand where they're at. They understand that they need to get off of a good start. I think the Jacksonville Jaguars go in there and upset my upset pick of the week. Jacksonville Jaguars upsetting the Miami Dolphins down in South Beach, um, unless of course they go out to Miami. Then there's a different story. If that happens, then all bets are off if they go out that night. Next game, Carolina, New Orleans. I'll let you go first because you might surprise me.
Oh man, no. This one here down in that dome, I'm not. I'm not. Carolina is there to me. They're like maybe the only team that I think is could possibly have a worse roster on paper than the New York Giants. So I'm no, I'm picking the New Orleans Saints here, man. And
New,
I just think it's I don't think I think this one could get I think this one can get out of hand. I think this is a potential game a game that could potentially get out of hand down in that dome week one. I don't
wow.
believe in Carolina. I don't.
Do not believe in Carolina. Carolina, there's no belief from Mac. And there's no belief from me either. So I'm going to go with the New Orleans Saints as well. I just think their defense is going to overwhelm the young quarterback. I think the young quarterback will play well, play efficiently enough. But people sleep on that defense. They're good in the dome. They've got better weapons now coming back, second year in the system. While they're a scrappy team, I do believe New Orleans needs to get off to a better start than their counterparts across the league because Last year they got kicked out of the playoffs for not having too many wins, right? So this one they need to get off a good start. If they lose to Carolina, it's going to be a long year for New Orleans. I think they get off. I think they get off to a good start in the dome. I think Derek Carr carries them to victory, which brings us to the New York Giants against the Minnesota Vikings. Mac, please go.
All right. I think the New York Giants get the job done week one. I think they do. I think the Sam Darnold effect will be the factor. I think I mean I understand Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison. I get the weapons, Aaron Jones in the backfield, but I think somehow Daniel Jones will find a way to outdo Sam Darnold. I think he will. I think he'll find a way to get it done and
They're
outdo
like clones of each
Sam
other.
Darnold in this week one matchup in up in the Meadowlands. I think the New York Giants owe the home fans a better performance than what we got a season ago in the home opener. I think the New York Giants will give the home fans a better performance. I think they get the job done and get a win over the Minnesota Vikings.
I think the Giants are going to win. I'm going to use the same logic. I think I'm probably going to pick the Giants. I'm going to use the same logic you used for Sam Darnold. Daniel Jones is going to have a Daniel Jonesian effect for the New York Giants, and that could be the reason the Minnesota Vikings also beat the New York Giants. However, I am not picking the Minnesota Vikings, even though I do think that there's a good chance to. Well, my gut and my brain tell me otherwise. My gut are telling me to pick Minnesota. My brain is telling me to stay loyal to you guys. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stay loyal to the fan base and pick the Giants, even though I think people are underestimating that Minnesota defense, and it might cause some trouble. Just like we talked about with Sam Darnold, it could easily cause trouble on the other side for Daniel Jones as well. Brian Flores blitzes 51% of the time. They have a solid secondary, like we talk about as well. They have Bynum, they have Harrison Smith, they got Stephon Gilmore, they got the Griffin kid, and they have Byron Murphy as well. Five solid defensive backs that they're putting out there. They have two decent pass rushers, not to mention the Dallas Turner kid that is also doing well. And then the two receivers they got on the outside, just this team scores points. That's what they do. They've done it all preseason. They did it last year with fucking Joshua Dobbs, Nick Mullins out there. So I'm not going to put it past them. We're laughing about Sam Darnold, but Kevin O'Connell is not going to put Sam Darnold out there in a position to fail. If he can make Nick Mullins look like a functional passer, and if he can make Josh Dobbs look like a functional passer, who both have less talent than Sam Darnold has, but Sam Darnold is who he is, Sam Darnold. But this is the best situation I feel he's had. And his
He's a
quarterback coach,
ghost.
listen, Daniel Jones saw ghosts too. We're sitting here talking shit about a quarterback who has the same numbers as our fucking quarterback. I'm sorry. It's to me, it's a push. It's going to be one of those games I'm not tuning in. But we both pick the Giants. Let's move on. Let's move on. This game's boring. It's probably going to be a low scoring game. But Minnesota does score a lot of points. We'll see what happens. They need to get off the schneid early. Giants do too, but Minnesota has. I think Minnesota they're in the same boat. They have two teams ahead of them. They're fighting for like probably third place and maybe scrapping for a wild card. That's basically what they're doing. Both teams. They're mirror images. It's a pick 'em game. You know. Anyways, Las Vegas versus the Chargers. Ooh, this is gonna be a good one. Who do you got?
Hmm. This is a tough one for me. Just don't know. I mean, not sure what to expect from the Chargers, man, here this season. I don't know fully. I know Jim Harbaugh definitely, likes to make a commitment to the run, obviously. So I think the Chargers come out kind of with a new look style offense. Justin Herbert, I think it's kind of been flying under the radar a lot this off season. A lot. I mean, I've been noticing, rankings coming out of such, and Justin Herbert's kind of falling back a little bit because I guess think people think the they're just going to come out there and just shove the run game down everybody's throat. But we're gonna, I think Justin Herbert is still going to be just fine. I think he's going to still put up the same dynamic quarterback that he's shown to be. And I think the Chargers come out here and I think they take it to the Raiders, man. I just think they're. I think it's going to be a new day for the Chargers now with Jim Harbaugh running the show. I like the
Well,
Chargers here.
well, because we've gone back to back to back to back picks where we have had the same one from New Orleans and the Giants. So I'm going to go and do something different, and I'm going to pick as much as I want to pick the Los Angeles Chargers because I love Justin Herbert. I'm going to go with the Las Vegas Raiders. They're out there. They're going to make a statement. Antonio Pierce in their building wants to get off the mat and show them why they made the right choice as their coach. Las Vegas Raiders. I'm reluctant again, like I was with the Giants, because there's a lot of things I do believe, that we haven't talked about that I still think Minnesota has. But I'm picking the Giants. This one, I believe in the Los Angeles Chargers, but just for fun's sake, we don't have any real bets or anything like that. I'm just going to be different. I want to be different. I'm going to be a little different, make it a little more fun. Las Vegas Raiders, here we come. Garner Minshew, Uncle Rico, let's start the show, baby. So now this brings us that's our first 4 o'clock game. We're getting to our second 4 o'clock game. Denver and Seattle. Interesting matchup.
Oh yeah,
Bo Nix.
out in the Pacific Northwest. Out in the
Going back
Pacific
home. Bo Nix
Northwest. It's
going back home.
time to time to see what Bo Nix is really made of. Winning the starting job, man. Bo Nix literally went from third on the Denver Broncos depth chart to number one within a 2 day period. Shot up from number three to number one.
You are
Just like
better than
that.
what we got. And,
I
that,
mean, Bo
and
Nix was lighting it up in the preseason. I mean, really looking sharp. Anybody that questioned him going in that first round, questioned Denver coming up and grabbing him. Now you see why. I mean, went out there, he's won that starting job over a former number
imagine
two
if he was.
overall pick in Zach Wilson. And I told people that Bo Nix was for real, man. I told you. I mean, yeah, it still might be a little early, and he's going to get a great test right here, going up there in Seattle, man. Tough place to go play. Obviously, one of the hardest places to go play in the league, so it's going to be tough for the rookie, man. But and with that being said, I got to go with Seattle here. I don't see it working out. Unfortunately for Bo Nix and the Broncos, I know. I probably didn't see it going quite that way. I know, but
He gaslit
I
you all
still
the
think
way
there's going to be
there.
some good things ahead. There's going to be some good things on the horizon for Bo Nix. Don't think it's going to happen here week one in Seattle. But
He's like, ooh, this is Bo Nix. I told you this. Take my flowers, do my victory lap. Denver's doing this, doing that, and then no, not gonna pick them. No, I'm gonna go with Seattle as well. This is one of those places for young quarterbacks like Arrowhead. It's a tough place to play, and I just think he might have. While I like Bo Nix, I thought he was worth being picked in the first round. And, if he was in a certain blue, he'd probably be the starter as well, but he's not. So revisionist can't be history. I mean, Joe Shane, you better hope he doesn't come out and have 300 yards and your guy have like 202 or something like that. But I'll go with Seattle in this game. I think, like I said, the defense, they got Leonard Williams over there. They got some solid pieces on defense. I think they're going to confuse the ever living crap out of the rookie, make his life hell. And then when that crowd gets going, it's hard to overcome that noise. So, but, he might have, because he lives in that area, he might have some family there that can help dry the tears on Sunday when he loses the game. So that brings us to the Dallas Cowboys against the Cleveland Browns. Mac, who do you got?
this is another interesting one here. I'm going Dallas here, man. I think Dallas goes out there. Cleveland, a tough defense. I think they get off to a good start. I think Dak comes out swinging, man, flinging that thing. I mean, obviously, everybody knows the story with Dak right now. Once he
Yo,
get
he's
paid
got a
yet
chip on his
again.
shoulder,
So
boy.
and obviously the quarterbacks, his fellow quarterbacks in the quarterback room definitely helped his cause in that motion as they went out there and did a whole lot of nothing in the preseason. As Trey Lance ended the preseason with 5 interceptions in a preseason game, that is just
Well,
absolutely despicable.
much
But
of the chagrin of Jerry Jones. Sure, he would have loved to have
anyway,
been
enough of that.
Montana. But yeah,
But the
yeah,
Dallas Cowboys, I think the Dallas Cowboys, I think they get off to a good start in the season. I think they go out there. I think CeeDee Lamb back definitely is going to make a big impact on that offense, and I think the Cowboys find a way to get it done in Cleveland.
as much as I want to go against it to make the show fun, you've said a point that made me flip back over to the Dallas side. Dak Prescott's going to be playing with a chip on his shoulder. I wouldn't be surprised if that guy tries to shoot for 5,000 yards and really sticks it to the NFL. To be like, you guys doubt me. I throw 30 touchdowns and 4,500 yards like clockwork every year. I think he's going to have a big year. I think it starts against this team on Sunday. I think that Cleveland defense is fantastic. I think they're going to hold the Cowboys to 21 points. It's whether or not the Cleveland offense can really generate some points. To be honest with you, what Deshaun Watson we're getting? Or excuse me, are we getting the Deshaun Watson in Houston, or are we getting the bum that's been playing in Cleveland the past few weeks, the shell of Deshaun Watson, the one who's too busy worried about what people think about him and who cares? Get over your, that you have a fetish for going whatever from masseuse parlors, whatever. Move on, bro. You did your time. I don't know if you went to jail. I don't know what happened. Settlements out of court. Shit happens. You make mistakes. I feel bad for the girls and all that, but put that behind you, bro. Come play football. Be the Deshaun Watson we all want you to be. With that being said, I'm going with the Dallas Cowboys again. I just think Dak Prescott, he knows there's a lot at stake, and I think he wants to stick it to Jerry Jones every game to show him like, yeah, you really want to let this walk out the door? You really want to let this walk out the door? And I think he's going to shake his ass to a victory. So. That brings us to Tampa Bay and Washington. And I'll be honest with you, I'll go first. I'm going to pick Tampa Bay. I just think Washington's going to be fun to watch. I think they have a lot going for them. They're not at home yet. I think this game will be a good test for the young kid to come out and play. I just think Tampa Bay's defense is going to be a little bit better. Baker Mayfield is going to go out there and put on a clinic. And I just think Washington – he's going to be competent. I think this offense, I think a game like this doesn't favor them because of who they're playing. Like week 2 favors them a little bit more. They're at home. They're playing the Giants. The offense is not as built the same way to score a lot of points, move up and down the field the same way like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are, where they have Mike Evans. They like to throw the ball downfield. They're going to have a decent run game. So that's what I'm picking. Mac? Upset special week?
Could it happen? I think it could happen. I think it will. I think Washington comes out rocking and rolling here. I think they go down there and
Whoa.
pull up the big upset. I think Jaden Daniels is going to come out there and show exactly how dynamic he truly is, man. And I think he's going to break down that
Imagine that.
defense with his legs as well as his arm, man. And I think he gets it done, man. I think Jaden Daniels accounts for 3 touchdowns in his debut. 3 touchdowns. One with his legs and 2 in the air, man.
I'm going to put that on the side over here.
You know why?
You put this little pick over here, JD.
I got him on one of my fantasy teams as well.
And there's always a reason. There's always a reason Mac hesitated. JD with 3 touchdowns. I'm going to put Mac's fantasy pick. All right, people. You heard it here first. It's written down on the weekly report. JD with 3. We will see what happens there. And then we have 2 more games. Two more games? I think 2 more games to go over. And then we can call it a wrap on the show for this week. Come on, computer. You're slowing me down. You're slowing the show down. You're fired, computer. Okay, so the next 2 games are LA and Detroit and San Francisco and New York. So we know the 2. So the Rams, Detroit, who do you got?
I think I like Detroit here, man. I think Detroit they were just right there on the precipice last season. They could almost just they almost could taste a trip to the Super Bowl last year. They were right there. They were so close, and I think this team is focused. I think this team is ready, man. I think they're ready to take that next step, and I think this team is a very going to be a very tough out in the NFC this season. I like what the Rams have been doing. I like that. I think the Rams are going to be a tough team this year as well. But I just think the Detroit Lions right now they're ready. They're ready to take that next step, and I think it starts with the Rams week one. And I think they handle their business on what's going to be, I think, a very fun Sunday night football game. Much better than the one you got last season to kick off Sunday night football. Just throwing that out there.
Well, I'm going to go and go with the Rams here. I know Detroit beat them last time, but I think the Rams. John McVay doesn't like to get beat too much. I think he's going to have his boys ready to go. I think Matthew Stafford, had his debut last time, remember, and he got squashed. I think they're going to hear it again. It's going to be great. This is what you want because it's going to be good theater. Okay, you're going to hear the boos for Matt Stafford. You're going to hear the boos for that team coming in because of the quarterback and everything like that. I can't wait. They should put this rivalry as long as Goff and Stafford are on the team. They should put this rivalry on every year for the fans of those two respective cities because I think it would be a fun showcase. But I'm going with the Rams to get the victory on the road against the Detroit Lions, not the Zions. And then San Francisco and the Jets. Who do you got?
I think there's been a lot of question marks. 49ers. People think is the window shut a little bit. I still think they're a damn good football team. They're still also going to be right there fighting tooth and nail to the end in the NFC as well. I think on the road, I think the Jets might be a little too much for the Jets. The 49ers defense could still be. I think it's going to overwhelm them a bit. And I just think the 49ers get it done. Brock Purdy, as long as he comes out, he's efficient like he's always been. I think the weapons on the offense: Christian McCaffrey, Debo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, who is now feeling good about his situation and his spot with this organization. I just think the 49ers are still going to be a very tough team, and I think it's a little too much week one for the Jets to handle. So I like the 49ers here.
49ers. Well, you know who I like here? I like the Jets to come in and on the road, Aaron Rodgers back in the Bay Area where he's grown up in the shadow of San Francisco as Cal Bear. I think he's going to go there, and I think he's going to upset. That's right. I think he's going to upset the 49ers. NY Jets. Why do you keep self-writing this for me? There's a ghostwriter right now for me. NY Jets. Aaron Rodgers comes out, doesn't get injured. He gets to play on the grass turf, gets to show Jet fans why they brought him in. And I think the Jets come away with the W. I just think this is it. Robert Saleh, you need to make a statement. You need to make a statement. You have to find a way to win these games now. This is what you brought in a quarterback for. This is what you build that defense for, is for games like this. And this could be a preview of a Super Bowl. You don't know. Maybe they get there, maybe they don't. I'm just saying that's how you have to take it if you're the Jets, right? The 49ers, again, they don't have as much to lose. If they lose this game, they might because Seattle and the Rams are nipping at their heels, but I don't think losing to the Jets is going to cost them more than the Jets losing to San Francisco when Buffalo has that game that's pretty easy for them to play, right? You have Miami, who's going to be playing a team that they can beat, right? And then you have who else in that division? I'm forgetting who's. I'm drawing a blank right now. Miami, Buffalo.
The
New England,
Patriots.
right? All right, the New
The
England Patriots.
Patriots.
Patriots are playing Buffalo, right? So, you don't want to be down there with the Patriots. Get off to a good start. You had a miraculous victory in opening week last year. I think it's going to carry over this year again. I think Aaron Rodgers wants to prove a lot of people wrong, and it's going to be exciting to watch. But again, those have been the picks for week 1 of the NFL season 2024. I hope you enjoyed those little analytical things that we went through. I will stop sharing my screen now so I can get back to reality. But next week we will have the results of that, and we will tally them up and see who's more of an expert. I get to rub it in this week and say, "Eat that, Mac," or is Mac going to sit there and on his throne, looking at me as the champion of the fantasy league that he is? So we will see. The drama continues. Again, if Zion is out there and you're listening, email me your picks. I have time during the week. I can jot them down on the sheet. And then when we come back, when we reconvene for week 2, and we preview week 2, which will probably be not next week because there's a football game on a Friday and we want to give you a chance to watch it as well as we want to watch the game. So we probably won't have a premium takes Friday. And of course, Sunday they have football all day. So again, we're not probably doing that then. So it'll probably be week 2 when we see you again. We will tally up the scores at that point. And does your Excel sheet tell you who wins and loses? No, my friend. No. Okay. And it's my Excel sheet. I got color coordination. Watch this. I don't want to share my screen, but I can change the wins to losses from red to green, baby. Red to green. So you can stick with your pick'em league. I'm sorry I didn't get it up to date with you hipsters in the CBS league. Maybe that's what I'll do for next week to hip it up for you guys. But I like to do this because we have 3 different hosts who are picking the 3 different games. So it's easier to do a spreadsheet than if it's 1 versus 2. But remember, we have a third horseman as well here who occasionally picks. So that's why I do it on a spreadsheet. So take that, Wales. Ha! I'm just kidding. But, anyways, like I said, Mac, take us home. We'll see you guys week 2.
Appreciate you all coming out tonight, joining me, Adam, for another edition of the Premium Takes podcast. Like you said, most likely won't be here next Friday night because it's going to be what's you expect to be a very entertaining football game on that we all want to sit back and enjoy, like all other football fans will be doing. And just want to make sure everybody throw them 4s up for our guy, the one and only NYG Jeffy T. Always here with us in spirit, man. Never forget our guy NYG Jeffy T, man. So throw them 4s up, and we will see y'all the next time we see y'all, man. I'm MacDaGiantsFan. That's my guy Adam Costas, man. This has been another edition of the Premium Takes podcast.
See ya.
Pass.